6 hours have passed since the occupation of the Duke's Manor by one Sidney Losthero, founder and leader of the Muhlenkamp sect. He and his allies have taken the Duke's family and servants hostage.
They hold the manor as we speak.
To what purpose?
The scum make 2 demands: the release of their imprisoned comrades and the abdication of Cardinal Battiston.
Yet their religious freedom within limits is protected. On what pretext shall we apprehend them?
We need no pretext. Muhlenkamp is a pack of rogues hiding behind a priest's frock. We believe them responsible for the attempt on our sovereign's life this Yuletide past.
And the VKP will not free their comrades? Certainly not. Do you know how many agents gave their lives? All because of this religious freedom. Too much freedom. Too many gods. Let those cultist cur dogs run loose, and they will bite you. Gods while our parliament cowers. Strike that outburst from the record.
Yes, my lord.
Our cult's not the Templars' concerns. Why must we be involved?
Our inquisitors have found that Muhlenkamp's coin comes from the captive Duke himself. Indeed, Valendia might still be at war with itself were it not for the Duke's heroism, yet he wields much of his power from the shadows. Even after his retirement, his grip on Parliament is unrelenting.
We have watched him long enough. Now it is time to act. Furthermore, we must find out why the Cardinal sent his blades to deal with this incident without our approval. Inquisitor Heldricht will explain.
You will go to the Greylands immediately. A map of the manor grounds is in your carriage. I've sent one of my agents ahead. She will fill you in when you arrive.
She?
Agent Merlos. Agent Riot, I presume? I'm your partner, Cal Merlos. But please, call me Cal. How was your journey?
How many are there?
Scouts report 12 men. Of course, we have yet to spot Sidney, and there may be more inside the manor.
Hostages?
Including the Duke's family and servants, 34. Thankfully, the Duke himself was away at the time.
The Duke was not taken captive?
Nay.
How fare the blades?
We will have to wait and see. With the hostages inside, direct action is perilous. We must negotiate with Sidney while we collect information to aid our final... What is this?
It seems a siege has begun. The Cardinal's blades have made their move.
We've given no such order. Their actions are in direct defiance of our authority.
Perhaps their hand was forced?
Wait, where are you going?
The blades have provided the perfect distraction.
It's far too dangerous. We must wait for reinforcements.
Reinforcements? I am the reinforcements. Ashley's such a badass. Have you found Sydney?
Not yet, sir.
Put out the fires, or we'll lose the manor, and all will be for naught. Split the knights into 2 groups, one to douse the blaze, the other to exterminate the traitors.
Right away, sir.
Where are you, Sydney? Show them who they're dealing with. Torch the chambers and kill the hostages!
Aye.
We've no time. Let's finish this before the blades arrive.
Right, let's do it quick and get out of here.
Who goes there? Oh, we've been discovered. Here we go. Same guys as FF12 and Tactics. Matsuno? Yes, indeed. Not only the writer, but also the artist, the composer. Well, have you found it?
It's no use. There's nothing like that here, anywhere.
Keep looking, damn you!
I'm telling you, Sydney. The knights are nearly upon us.
Stop your whimpering. You'd come this far only to leave empty-handed. Now search! Curse the Duke, where's he hidden it? You sure the Duke really has it? Does the damned thing even exist? You doubt me, Harden? You doubt my power? Forgive me, I did not intend. But Sydney, any longer and there will be no escape for us. Fine then. Bring the boy and come with me. Don't move, Sydney. I've a bowgun aimed at your heart. Now, turn round slowly. You're no knight, are you? Bind your legs with that rope.
Ah, a risk breaker. A royal guard dog.
Did you not hear me? Bind yourself now!
This is an unfortunate turn of events.
Hold it! Sydney!
I'm the one you want. Harden, go quickly. Go to Le Mondi.
You, stop! What's going on? You were most certainly dead. Leave the back from the grave stuff to the fairy tales.
You've given me quite a scratch. Show a little more respect for fairy tales, risk breaker.
The duck! Ooh, that wyvern got messed up crashing through that glass ceiling. Grass ceiling, Jesus.
My apologies. I have no time to toy with you.
Oh, when dealing with dragons, get in close so you maybe don't have to deal with their breath attacks. Also, a lot of them are pretty vulnerable in the neck, if I remember right. Most dragons are a lot stronger than this. This one is weakened by being impaled all over the place. Yeah, I think Vagrant Story came up in discussion during Parasite Eve because of the whole sphere thing. Anyone else would probably be dead from that drop, but I have a feeling Sydney is still alive.
Le Mondi.
You love PS1 games like this, which are so artistically made. Intro is really neat. Yeah, this game's really impressive for what it does with the technology, the very limited technology. The whole game is like this cutscene-wise too. Like, there's not a lot of cutscene, but It's all very cinematic, despite the limitations of the hardware. The body is but a vessel for the soul, a puppet which bends to the soul's tyranny, and lo, the body is not eternal, for it must feed on the flesh of others, lest it return to the dust whence it came. Therefore must the soul deceive, despise, and murder men. A.J. Durai. That's a name from Tactics, isn't it? The historian A.J. Durai. So, the knights who came were not the king's men, but the cardinals? Knights of the Cross led by Guildenstern, my lord.
The Crimson Blades, in direct service to the cardinal.
Guildenstern led his men toward Leamondie in pursuit of Sydney. I see. Send one of your men in the armor of these holy knights. Set fire to the manor. Fire, my liege. The fool Sydney used his wyvern. We can't have witnesses telling the world now, can we? But the hostages? Your family? Irrelevant! Burn it! Burn it to the ground! What of Parliament? The VKP, Valendian Knights of the Peace, have formed a squad to deal with the felons. The risk breakers. Those meddling fools. Your will, my lord. Leamondie is yours. Let no one out of the town. You can deal with Sydney and the Blades there. And Parliament? I'll deal with those watchdogs. They won't trouble you further. And the young Lord Joshua. He is my light, my soul, if aught should befall him. As you wish, my lord. Am I fated to rot and wither, even as I breathe? Leamondie is an old town with a history of over 2,000 years. Its walls have seen many battles. They are stronger than the mightiest forts of Valendia, and as the sun wheels through the sky, the beauty of their shifting colors surpasses that of any palace. The grand cathedral that towers over the town center is a symbol of Leamondie's indomitable spirit and is the holy ground of the devout Iocus priesthood. At its height, Leamondie was a thriving community, more than 5,000 people strong. 25 years ago, a great earthquake brought that chapter in Leamondie's history to a close. Well?
The 2 sentinels are dead. Murdered.
This the only way in?
There's a great crevice preventing entry above ground.
And from the sea?
Nay, sunken reefs that rose during the earthquake form a gauntlet of whirlpools. Too dangerous. You do know we sent agents in, thinking those ruins were the Muhlenkamp base. Not one returned.
Not on account of the whirlpools, I'd wager.
Surely it was men who killed them. How was it down there?
Come down and see for yourself.
According to the survivors, our comrade Agent Riot headed out for Le Mundi before noon. Of course, the reports are vague and we cannot deny the possibility of inaccuracies. Yet given that there is only one path to infiltrate Le Mundi, this office believes the reports to be valid. I forgot that the game manual and the trailer for this game frame this as a story that's already happened. Everyone's looking for Agent Riot, who disappeared after the incident in Le Mundi, and they believe he assassinated Duke Bardorba, and the point of this game's story is to play from Ashley's perspective and find out what exactly happened in this town, because no one seems to know. What happened in this town, what happened to Agent Riot, etc. What's this?
That's what I'm here to find out. It does seem well fortified for a wine cellar.
Oh? Le Mondi's wineries once vied with the best of Valendia. Since they went out of production, the remaining vintages sell for a premium.
If I find any, consider them yours.
You plan to go alone?
An agent with no combat experience would just be a liability.
Is this game a continuation of another game? No, it's completely standalone. There's no prequel and no sequel either, despite the fact that there is plenty of room for there to have been a sequel, but one was never made.
Tell me what you know about Muhlenkamp and this Sydney fellow.
Not to say that this game ends in an unsatisfying or cliffhanging kind of way. It's a complete story. Like, it's fine to end it where it ends. It's just that they could have done more with this world, and it's kind of a shame they didn't.
Tell me what you know about Muhlenkamp and this Sydney fellow.
Sydney Lostero, leader of the religious cult Muhlenkamp. His real name and age are unknown, one of many self-styled prophets of the apocalypse.
Isn't a super weird timeline that it takes place in Evil East, just in a different time from FF12 or FF Tactics? Kind of. My understanding is that Matsuno made this game to get away from Evil East after finishing work on Tactics. Like, he wanted to do something different in its own world, but then they kinda ended up making references to this game in Final Fantasy XII later on, so... Shrug? I don't know. Gotta go. Alright, have a good night. So why would a cult missionary commit such a crime?
I do not know what the Cardinal thinks, but the VKP believes he is no prophet. Indeed, he is in dark alliance with Duke Bardorba, who controls Parliament from behind the scenes. That the cult is but a front. Perhaps this incident is a sign of some falling out between the two?
Or merely another of the Cardinal's witch hunts?
There are many would-be prophets in the land these days, but Sydney is different. His prophecies ring true, and those enraptured by the way he hums revelations, as though they were simple ballads, all say the same. He is a miracle. In any case, he has a strange power. He can guess the past of those he meets. He can even read hearts. They say his charisma is such that his followers offer both body and soul to him.
Sounds like you're quite taken with him yourself.
Agent Riot!
If I do not return by the morrow's eve, inform HQ, won't you?
Godspeed.
Well, there's the man himself. We sent men to monitor the abandoned mineshaft that leads to Le Mundi. All were found dead. At the entrance, other bodies were found. 2 Knights of the Cardinal's Crimson Blades. Our men were murdered with swords, but the Knights' wounds show they died by their own hands. At present, we have taken the bodies into our custody, and our specialists are continuing the examination. Excerpt from the Greylands Incident Investigation Report. Ah, vintage wine. No live burials today, thanks. A strange power indeed. Don't mind that unearthly moaning, I'm sure it's perfectly fine. Well, got her open? It's no good. Not even a budge. What's this? Weren't locked a moment ago, eh? No key holds this door. It'd be a grimoire what's doing this. Well, who locked it then? Someone inside? Bugger if I know. Look, we'll be cut off from the others. And where are those scouts, man? They've not returned. There's been no time for loafing around. Keep your cap on, brother. Now come up here and take a look at this. What's that? A grimoire. This too be a grimoire's doing. By the gods. I'd oft heard of it. But this... And a whim, a dragon, was sighted at the Duke's manor. And if there's magic about, dragons won't be far behind. I worry about Guildenstern and the others. Ah, they'll be fine. I think I should have been trying to do like a Scottish thing for that guy, maybe. Think of it. If we've witnessed miracles such as these on Le Mondi's doorstep, what then lies within? You wear naivete like a crust, brother. Surely the maesters know of this grimoire. Perhaps we've just been in the dark, eh? Yet our charge is to drub those Muhlenkamp scoundrels and procure the miracles of Le Mondi. 'Tis just a rumor, but I've heard that Guildenstern's lot works them magics as well. Rubbish! We're servants of the Lord! No true knight of the cross would dabble in the black arts! It's only a rumor, brother. But if Sydney is truly the work of Diablerie they claim he is, I say fight fire with fire. I say let the Lord be our shield. Ever the choir boy. The only shield I see is the one covering your eyes. Heretic or no, I believe what I see. And right now, I see sorcery. Swine will take wing for the likes of us use magic, my friend. Aye, but with a grimoire, your fattest sow could outfly my swiftest falcon, if ye believe the chroniclers. With a grimoire, you say? You could even make cobblestones float like clouds. Yeah, those little floating blocks are called cloudstones. Here comes one of Parliament's watchdogs. You go back and silence his yapping. Parliament's watchdogs? An agent of the VKP. You can follow orders, can you not? The VKP is your enemy. Now go. Sir! Sydney can deceive the hearts of men and make them think that they are talking to someone else. Not again! This is a big one! I do not feel I'm welcome here. The door is closing. It's a timed mechanism. Not what I was expecting to see on the other side of that door. It's a big boy. Sydney. So this is a risk breaker. Most men complacently accept knowledge as truth. They are sheep ruled by fear. But you are different. Always calm, detached, a smooth flow of thought into action. Indeed, it is almost as if you had no soul. How do you do it? Body and soul are one, yet yours are separate, like a child from the knight in his storybook. Where is your soul, Riskbreaker? Is this VKP training? Or did you see something that made you shut your soul away? Show me your soul. That's a tragic backstory if I've ever seen one. You killed your beloved wife and child. They were slain by fallen knights, jackals. Wrong. You failed to protect your wife, your child. You failed in your duty as a knight, as a husband, as a father. You killed them. Sydney! Try to catch me, Ashley Riot. Look outside yourself to find your truth. What's your game? Hardin!
Ashley!
Merlos!
Pay no heed to me! Take them, Riot!
The City of Shade will forgive your sins, my son, and call forth a power that lies within you even now. This is my game. I run, you give chase. I am the heart and you the hunter.
But this heart has laid a few snares of his own. I am waiting for you, Riskbreaker.
Hold! Sydney! Damn!
Ashley has recovered battle abilities from his suppressed memory.
What is happening?
I am waiting for you, Ashley Riot. Unlocked the door with a chamomile sigil. The chamomile sigil turned to dust. I do like that whole thing more than just the idea of, oh, you threw away the key. It's kind of neat. Hello, friend.
I beg of ye, stop the pain.
Speaking of Resident Evil.
Is this some magic, or merely the power of Le Monde? Is this too part of your game, Sydney?
Lily sigil turned to dust. We're being watched.
Do not attempt escape, and no harm will come to you.
What evil are you working here?
Just a little drawing, my dear. What think you, Harden? Gods, is he even human? He fights with the strength of a brigade. Are Riskbreakers all this powerful?
I think not. Our Ashley is a vessel, you see. He has merely partaken of the power around him. It is as I have foreseen.
What next, then?
What next? Let him give chase a while.
This is madness, Sydney! The Blades will hold this town soon, and we dare not face their undivided forces. We've no time to play cat and mouse.
Relax, my good Harden. Remember, it is all part of my plan.
With the Duke's betrayal, the Cardinal's meddling, and a Riskbreaker strong as a bloody titan all part of your precious plan too, Sydney. Sydney, forgive me.
Be calm, Harden. It is of no account. You impress me, Inquisitor. More concerned about our doings than your own fate. What villainy are you planning, Sydney? Why, I'm preparing a feast for your friend. Gilda Mendes Hatis Monta Fredes Ratis Alhegil Mota. I don't know advanced. Understand so contract of kinship, lead your beast unto me. I missed part of that because the text box went away on its own and it was kind of hard to read some of that. I must help Father.
Merlos?
They gave me a save point right before this. So this is what Sydney summoned. about to go to the outside. It's blinding. After being down in those catacombs for so long. Are there towns in this game? Just the one. This entire game takes place within the abandoned city of Le Monde. Kind of like Resident Evil takes place within Raccoon City. Or like Resident Evil 3. Well? Just a workshop. Nothing else here. We've still no word from Squad 3. They're dead then. I could not. Did you not verify their corpses? Sir, my apologies. Coward! Ye are a stain on the escutcheon of our order. The loss of our brothers cannot be helped. Pray that fate will not be as cruel a mistress to us. Search! The rat hole Muhlenkamp's been using is here somewhere. Leave no stone unturned. Sir! I, for one, cannot leave this accursed city soon enough. Yeah, I thought so. Answer wisely, and you may yet live. Now tell me where Sydney hides. Save your breath, knight. You fools think the dark will bend to you. We are prelates of the Lord, scum. We are not here to bend aught. We are come to cleanse. He spit in his face. Now there is still time. Pray, perhaps he will forgive. And I will pardon your sins in his name. Go to hell. So end those who serve the dark. What mean you? The dark is formless and invisible. It invades the body like a plague, an unseen visitor. Yet those it taints become undying. Undying? Yes, they do not die. But he did die. Turned to dust, leaving no trace. Did he not? What is death? Is it the ruination of the flesh? Surely that is death. But it is only one facet of the truth. True death is the death of the soul. And theirs is not a true death? Even should their flesh crumble to decay, their souls will wander eternally. The undying of Le Monde do die, but it is an incomplete death. An incomplete death. Trapped in purgatory, they yearn for life, thus they seek bodies without souls. And the corpses that walk are born. They say the howl of the north wind is the cry of the wandering souls. Grissom, gather our remaining men. Join with Tiga's knights and crush Muhlenkamp. Go. By your command. Will the same happen to me?
You will not die. And
And?
there is one who has found the true undeath. Immortality, my love.
Let us search for this Sydney.
So the Cardinal seeks immortality. That's right, but it's not that concerns you. An incomplete death's more than a VKP butcher deserves. God, my soul is not ready. He's got his eyes on me. Back down we go. But we're being tailed. Well, what do you see? You find us strange, no?
Unnatural is more the word. That thing you do, it...
They have formed into 3 groups. They're wounded, and increasingly wary of being split apart. They seem less focused than our visitors last night.
The soldiers last night were trained elites. These latecomers are mere sellswords. Guildenstern doubtlessly wished to catch us in the Greylands, yet we proved too cunning a quarry.
It is a hollow victory. Our losses are greater than the Blades, and they have cut our puppet strings and turned them against us. They will soon hold the surface. We are lost.
We have sacrificed much, yet it need not be in vain, needed Harden.
How can they control our servants? How?
Not all of them can, only a few.
Yet we are the masters, are we not? Have we been betrayed by one of our own?
I think not. The Cardinal has prepared long for this. 20 years watching, waiting.
Think! They struck us just as we were moving on the Duke. They knew our plans, Sydney.
Temper, Harden. You must learn control.
We are lost, Sydney! Lost! We must leave now or we'll be warming our toes in hell! I said control yourself!
I am telling you all is well. Trust me, Harden. All is well. We are friends, you and I. Is that not so, Harden? Give me your trust, friend.
Yes. Friends.
Take the Inquisitor with you and go ahead. Oh, and don't be too rough.
What will you do?
Just going to pay a visit on Guildenstern. Worry not, friend. Use sigils to lock all you can. It will cost our guests a valuable time to unbind them.
Sydney. If we are friends, do not compel me so. Never again, Sydney.
He intends to die.
This way. Come. Meanwhile, Ashley somehow saw all that through Merlot's eyes all of a sudden. Merlot's. Still just watching and waiting, huh? What have you done, Sydney?
We can pass through here. What have you found?
Ancient Chaldean lettering. It's quite worn, nigh unreadable.
Anything useful?
I think not. Yet.
Yet?
The carvings are particularly deep in places.
They're quite charming. What do they mean?
There's more here. And here.
Ancient Chaldean. From Muhlenkamp's time.
Ah, truly. These were written before the birth of Saint Iochus, a time when sorcerers were common as sellswords. What is it?
The Cardinal, he will stop the legacy of Muhlenkamp, the grimoires, from falling into the wrong hands, will he not?
Of course, my love. To cede its power to a fanatic such as Sydney would be madness.
I fear he already has the Grand Grimoire. What think you?
I do not know. Yet surely he would not be here chatting so amiably if he had.
The Grand Grimoire, the ultimate codex of sorcery.
It is only a book, a covenant, yet it is the prime mover, the machinery of life itself. And if you had that book, Sydney, you wouldn't know what to do with such power. Then pray tell, for what purpose have you been in league with the Duke these many years? You seek to control men, nay, to control God himself. Oh, please. Warping the minds of men and shepherding the masses has always been your church's domain. You lure sheep with empty miracles and a dead God. Or perhaps you too are a sheep, Samantha. A poor little lamb bleating for your faith as though it were milk of the poppy. Yet mark your savior well, for he is one of the demons you so fear, Samantha. Be silent! As sweet a faith still as the draught called love. Be wary, Samantha. Don't let him get to you. Ah, truly the Cardinal's own hand. Your will is strong, Guildenstern. You are not the only shepherd here, Sydney. Watch your crook, lest it be wrenched from you. It's no use. We must make haste.
The fiend!
Run, Sydney, run. You will be ours in the end. Think I might have to worry about someone other than Sydney, more so than Sydney himself, perhaps. The Grand Grimoire. Snow? No, Snow flies. Well, is she open for you?
Nay, the sigil holds it fast. How fare you? It was just a workshop. I mean your men. How many have we lost? Ah, how goes the battle, you mean? The city is ours, dearie, more or less. How many dead? 3, maybe 4 score. We've lost contact with some. We'll know better when the fighting cools. The dead walk in greater numbers as the day wanes. I know. They'll walk beneath the stars when eventide comes. You would fight this battle differently? It is not that, No training could prepare one for this. Lost your nerve, Samantha? War is change. We must follow suit.
Control your fear. Lest you be controlled in its stead.
Romeo.
Sydney's lot have caught wind of our little foray and summoned their dark brood to repel us. They summon, yet they cannot command. Soon the paling that holds the demons in Le Monde will fall.
Sydney must be stopped.
Indeed, Commander Nisa. You have the right idea. Now to action. What ails you, Samantha?
What is Sydney thinking? Summoning evil beyond his control. He fills his chalice with poison and savors it like wine.
Think not on him, Samantha.
Yet what he does defies nature's order.
Nature's order? That was him! That risk-breaker has done this! Damn him! That was kind of cold, but he didn't smack her just to get her to snap out of it. That actually hurt Ashley, too. Apparently, when they're connected, they're really connected. That's an interesting development. The symptoms resemble those of case 72, was it? Borrowing another's eyes and ears, clairvoyance, if you will. All people are tuned to a certain rhythm. Some can find a like rhythm and jump on board. You're not a Knight of the Cross. One of Sydney's, then? True seers can join one regardless of their rhythm. But not you. Not yet. My name is Rosenkranz. I'm a risk-breaker like yourself. What's this? Grand Steward Lesate has sent me to assist you. We are to be partners. Well, we know he's full of it because Duke Bardorba sanctioned him to go do something, not this Grand Steward Lesate. You must know, risk-breakers always work alone. And a change of plans mid-mission is unthinkable. Yet you know nothing! Not about Le Monde, Muhlenkamp, Sydney. Nothing at all. And you do? Of course. You're the only one who does not. The VKP and Parliament know, have known, about the dark powers and the dead that walk. They've just kept it secret. Continue. We didn't think you'd go straight to Le Monde from the manor, so they sent me to help. I am better in a scrape than our Inquisitor friend, who admittedly lacks battle experience. You say the VKP knew of the dark powers? Indeed, I was assigned to the investigation. You know that Le Mundi is a wellspring. What? A power grows in those, like you, whom its dark waters have touched. You may not feel it or understand it, but it is there, making you something more than mortal. To wit, there is no power without the dark, yet it is not easily tamed. Thus Parliament raised a paling around the cities of men and set the dark out to pasture. Le Mundi, however, has strong ties to the dark. For this is the dark city of the ancient Kildean priestess Muhlenkamp. All that was needed is fodder, and they would come to feed. Fodder? No. Yes, the Great Quake 25 years past stocked the city's larders with corpses. The wandering spirits wail and hunger. A fight for territory wrought from darkness. And you, the Parliament's champion in that battle. Rosencrantz, was it? Your words bear much meaning. Please, my friend, I speak only the truth. Yet you have no evidence. For that, you must search. I will cut you next we meet. Leave the city before sundown, if you value your life. If you would enter the forest, follow the snowflies. They gather where the dark runs strongest. You really went in there. The snowflies will mark his grave, I fear. Ah, there you are, Rosencrantz. Who is this? Oh, there you are. Ah, there you are, Rosencrantz. It has been a while, Grissom. You seem well? Where did he go? Through the wood, he says. You will follow him? I must avenge the foul murder of my brother Dwayne. Of course you must. But be wary. Your foe is strong. God is stronger. The dark is stronger, you mean? And what is your business here? We had a deal, did we not? Join with Sydney and find the key. Time is short. Very well. But you should know. Something is odd with Sydney. Odd, you say? A veritable bestiary of beasties springs up where'er he goes. Nothing he cannot handle. Still. Ah, even the hyena cowers, does he? Don't be the fool, Grissom. Hyenas know caution. These creatures. Sydney's the one summoning them. Well now, Sydney's cup overfloweth, and he calls forth a flood. There's a flood of vermin in this city, true, but it seems Sydney's manning the sluice. Meaning? You're a slow one. Sydney is increasing the flow of dark energies on purpose. Why would he? That is the question. Follow the snowflies, Grissom. They foregather where the dark runs deepest. Wait. Had a sudden revelation there, Rosencrantz. He seems to be on whoever's side most suits him at the moment. He's that kind of character. So many snowflies.
The quake. A sign. Fiendus. Lemkin. Answer me, for the love of God! Follow the snowflies. Right.
Grissom has lost his allies.
This is madness. You'll die. I, too. I can summon. It is not your sacred right. Ukasamalas Mother Dearth Fulgend. And I say you'll die. Night of shadow from ancient slumber, the bloody glyph carved in flesh. Impos. Very possible. The weak cannot reign in the dark. There are limits to all things. You have reached yours. The dark is hungry. It has fed. Speaking ill of the dead, are we, Sydney? Night of shadow from ancient slumber, the bloody glyph carved in flesh. Take my body, lead me as your own. Jordanazam Sin Medaya!
The crazy bastard actually did it.
His feeling, the power, it swells and flows through me. Now in my brother's name, you die. Father. You reek, Riskbreaker. What is that stench?
Ah, you met Rosencrantz? Dang.
He told me Le Monde was a wellspring for the dark. What think you?
I've been shown a lifetime of oddities in a day.
So you believe the dark exists, yet you do not believe that which you cannot see. The dark covers your eyes, and you are blind.
There is no proof. Am I to believe the Great Quake was man's doing? Thousands of city folk, their lives sacrificed to make this wellspring. By whom? Parliament? The Cardinal?
Why don't you ask?
Ask who?
The sacrificed. The witnesses. You've impressed me. You truly are a risk-breaker. Or a trained assassin. A killer.
What nonsense is this?
Memories, risk-breaker. Memories.
Stop this. Stop this now.
Do not run, Ashley. See with your eyes.
Papa, a sip of water.
Have some of Papa's wine, Marco.
Wait right there. I'll fetch some water. Don't you dare give Marco any wine.
Wine is like sweet ambrosia.
Really?
What?
The truth, Ashley.
Madness! Foul deception!
You doubt what I have shown you? It is your memories that deceive. The VKP has burned sweet lies into your soul.
You lie! Lies.
An elite member of the Kingsguard loses his wife and child, a tragedy. He becomes a VKP risk breaker. This is the lie, a memory false as summer snow. You were an assassin and a saboteur in an elite squad. Mistaking them for your target, you murdered an innocent family. For country and justice, you would take any life without thinking, until you sent that family to their deaths.
By the gods, you lie!
The VKP saw the opportunity to turn your guilt to patriotic zeal. They twisted your very soul, Ashley. Your despair at losing your family turned to hate for the lawless jackal that killed them. Hate that should be reserved for yourself.
You lie!
Do I? Are your newfound abilities not proof enough? You believe Le Monde responsible? You are remembering the killing arts you learned in a past life.
No!
What is memory? Men forget that which pains them. Create new memories to please themselves. Lie to themselves, believing their own lies.
I have to admit, I didn't really think that people really truly did that kind of thing. But there is some truth to the way that your own memories can become twisted in one way or another, and I have to admit that at this point in my life I have met such a person who seems to twist their own memories in a way that suits how they want them to be in a certain regard.
The VKP may have wielded the brand that burned your soul, but you wanted them to do it. You wanted them to burn your guilt away.
What do you want, Sydney? What are you trying to do to me?
Truth, Riskbreaker. I just want you to know the truth.
I spit on your truth.
But you have already begun believing. Am I wrong, Ashley? You have seen demons walk the city streets, heard the cries of the dead and damned. You deny these things. Are they illusions? What did you see through that woman's eyes, Ashley?
You think you can see the past?
Not see. I hear it. Hear.
Wait, Sydney!
You want the truth? Then follow me, Ashley Riot.
It is true. It is as you say. Some parts were added later, but the original Kildaean letters cover every wall. The walls of Le Monde, all carved with these glyphs. What do they mean?
These are the spell songs Le Monde is surrounded by. These are the spell songs. Le Monde is surrounded by sorcery. You'll likely find them on every den and dovecote in the city. This city, it is unchanged these past 2,000 years. Neither the eroding winds nor the quake have sapped its strength. The dark is strongest toward the center, the great cathedral. I have felt it. The entire city is a circle of magic.
Brilliant! A brilliant deduction, my good sir. Top of your class at the academy indeed.
What? You knew?
Didn't everyone? The city is the circle, the wellspring, and the book, the grand grimoire for which you seek. You're standing in it. Le Monde is the Grand Grimoire. Why did you not tell us? This is betrayal most foul. Why have you done this? Your memory fails you. The dark holds no power over me. Nor do I recall us ever being friends. My friendship with the Duke is fleeting as well. Have you no honor? That I do have, and enough sense to know not to throw my life away for some fool cause.
You are not but a glorified sellsword. You disgust me.
That might have been Guildenstern too. I don't know. You are not but a glorified sellsword. You disgust me. We live in peaceful, boring times. There's no rank to be had in killing on the fields of war. We must seize opportunity where we find it. Do you not agree, Guildenstern? You were using me too, after all. I'm your opportunity. You know that. You need me. You are a common Harlow. You were born a worm and you will die a worm. Lysate was right to expel you from the Risk Breakers. Such praise! I am not worthy. Where is the key? Well now... Tell me, or I will see you dead. You kill me. I was a Risk Breaker, you know. What's that, some hesitation there, Guildenstern?
What is this? Where am I? What is this I see? Yet I am here.
Samantha, it is I.
Where? Where are you?
They are linked. Samantha's rhythm is attuned to his, Guildenstern. Riskbreaker!
He is near. He hides.
It has passed then. We join with Tiga.
Yes.
I did want to see what Sydney had planned for our little agent here. But now it is time to end the game. Rosencrantz, kill him. Show him your power. Show him how you make the dark kneel. My pleasure. We meet again, Ashley. You have no idea how long I've waited to measure swords with you. What do you mean? You see, I have known you for a long time. I was the one who set you up as the VKP's errand boy. And I have you to thank for my current lack of employ. What? Here, let me jog your memory. You're not so tough. Yield! A shame your skill in the killing arts did not go the way of your memory. What killing arts? You really don't remember. I should give the VKP more credit. We were in the same unit, you and I. What unit? You mean in the King's Guard? The King's Guard? More VKP lies, I'm afraid. That summer day. That warm summer day. I was there with you. Well done, Commandant. Both right through the heart. What? They're just peasants. Their luck ran ill is all. All witnesses to our operations must be dealt with. It is our code. They were wrong to picnic here. You are the hand of justice. We are the hand of justice. It is for the good of the realm. A few sacrifices is nothing. A few sacrifices. You tell me why these people had to die. Why we had to kill them. They were innocent. Is it not our charge to protect these very souls? What has come over you? You sound the addle-pated preacher. Commandant, what is wrong? The risk breakers may be the wards of the law now, but it was not always so. We were always champions of justice, true, but a justice that served the state alone. We were above the law. We assassinated political enemies of Parliament and sent sharp steel to bloody the civil wars of our neighbours. To the people we were the knights of law and order. To our enemies we were the Parliament's hatchet men. You were a commandant, one of the best. If only your sense of justice was not so keen. The VKP was not about to lose one of their best without a fight. And you? Myself. I was picked up by the VKP like you. I learned about Le Mundi when I was sent to spy on Muhlenkamp. Then I made some friends. The Cardinal's men. Or Muhlenkamp. Both. You weren't the only one unhappy with the old killing teams. Threats, burglary, murder, we were no different than common ruffians. They prey on people, we on nations. There were others that tried to forget. Some went mad, others took their own lives. Not I, however. I will use them as they used me. You know them, eh? The privileged ruling from their satin couches, born with silver spoons in their mouths, or shrewd moneyers standing on the backs of the poor. But the pawns have seen the game board for what it is. Now there is only one thing left. Le Mundi. The Blades, the VKP, they all want the power it holds. Correct. And dear Sydney holds the only key. I cannot fathom what his intentions are in using you as a vessel for the dark. Regardless, his time is nigh. And the Blades will do your dirty work. Those pious fools have been long steeped in filth. I will not yield so easily next we meet. You are a poor loser, Rosencrantz. Say what you will. Lying to ourselves. Believing our own lies.
What? Where are you? Are you alive, Agent Riot?
Merlos? Merlos! Where are you? Where?
Blast! Another of them sigils!
We won't get through here. Fear not, the door will hold. I prefer leaving a guardian to back up my sigils, but I made this one particularly strong.
Then you can summon the Dark Ones as Sydney does?
Come, we go to the Great Cathedral. Oh yeah, we are definitely getting far in this plot.
That boy.
The Duke's son, our honored guest. He is timorous, though, and speaks not a word.
He seems quite taken with you.
Yes, he knows not who I am.
Why did Muhlenkamp seize the ducal manor? Answer me!
Why should I? We turned banners against the Duke. He sought to seal off our wellspring after 2 decades of toil.
He sought to seal off our wellspring.
You! The Duke is mortally ill. He fears he will pay for this life's sins in the next. So he seeks to bury this city, as though that would bring absolution.
And you seek to pluck the city from his dying hands, correct?
You, a seer! What witchcraft is this?
Why? Why did you take the manor? You will answer!
To inherit the city, you must have the key. Only the bearer of the key can receive the power of the Grand Grimoire.
The key?
The key bearer, the Duke, will soon die. If he dies without a successor, all is lost. The Duke thinks he can cut off the cursed Muhlenkamp bloodline, but that must not be allowed to happen. We will assume the legacy. Sydney is... Hinder me no further. We go, now.
This is my power?
So it seems. As I can scry on distant locales, so the talent of the Heartseers has flowed in you.
Talent?
We all possess energy, Inquisitor. But it is a negative energy, an energy that should not exist. Yet it does, and it awakens the sleeping power.
The dark?
Yes, something like that.
And Sydney?
He is the strongest I know. Through the dark, he sees people's past. He can even push his will on others. He may have other powers beyond my ken.
It is sad.
What is?
Even if he can see the past and clasp the truth, how are we to know if he speaks it? If he can push us to believe anything, how do we tell truth from falsehood?
Why single him out? Everyone lies. Surely you know that. Whether they are dark sorcerers or corrupt clergy, they all lie. And we believe. Am I wrong? He would not lie to me.
The Grand Grimoire. What will you do with it?
I don't think even he knows the answer to that.
Fine then. Let us be off. But Sydney hides something from you, Harden.
I will bring rope. I like the timing of this cutscene because it gives you the opportunity to think about the fact that we have no reason to believe that what he showed Ashley in the Snowfly Forest is necessarily the truth either. And we can't really trust anything that Rosencrantz says either. The power to bend one's will unto another. Sydney's true past. Was it a lie? Ah, there's no pulse. He's gone. You did this! I mean, I did kill him. Not there, though. I don't know how his body got there. You killed our brother.
Tiger, this is him, the VKP's risk breaker.
So you're the one they speak of. They will sing songs of your death here. You fight well, risk breaker.
Flatter him not, Tiger. I didn't even hit you. I'm glad they have shared HP.
We will withdraw, Nisa. Can you fly?
Well enough.
That corpse was Grissom. But why here? That's why.
Please, a moment. My body is not cooperating.
You. I'm sorry, brother. We cannot help you now.
What is happening? Grissom, you have left this coil. The dark has filled you. You have joined the Cold Ones. An ironic fate. I suppose it is better than the endless wandering. But to happen upon your own corpse.
Kill them all.
Who speaks?
It is bitter, lonely. They must join us. Kill them.
The walls speak?
Friends, they dream of killing you. They will steal your body. Kill them, Grissom.
My flesh is mine and mine alone!
Grissom!
Ah, and yes, my favorite cutscene music in the game. Is this it? In the upper stories, I believe? Move out. With the kind of music they're starting to throw at us, you can tell it's the end of the game. Oh man, this is one of the biggest scenes in the game.
You're a brave boy.
All the excitement at the manor got to him. He's not said a word. You hungry, boy?
You care well for your charges.
It was during my days in the Peace Guard. There was an investigation into an incident. I was part of a special team entrusted with delivering blades to rebels in a neighboring kingdom. Apparently, some did not reach their destination. They claimed some of us were making copper selling the steel on the black market. We were all guilty. I was not the only one. They presented me with an offer. Betray my friends, and I would walk free. I had a brother, half my age, He was gravely ill, and we knew not when he would leave us. I wanted money. I wanted my freedom. I sold my friend, my brother, but they did not set me free. When I escaped from prison, my brother was dead.
So you joined Muhlencamp to revenge this injustice done to you?
You scry too deep, woman!
This thing you do will not bring your brother back!
Silence! What do you know?
Do not play the child! Do not blame your weakness on another!
Witch! Quicker than a damned bloodhound. Our dark hounds know your stench, cultist. Speak. Where is the key? How should I know? You are at my mercy. Now speak. Truly, I do not know. You must know something. Anything! Your power, like Sydney's. How? You do not draw from the wellspring? You think the dark flows only within your city? You underestimate the Cardinal.
A mite close that was.
Yes.
It is time to take the city. Let us perform the rite of succession.
The key? You found it?
The key?
The blood sin.
Ah, yes, the blood sin.
Is this a test, Sydney?
Yes, a test. Tell me of this key, brother.
Only he who holds the blood sin can succeed to the Dark City. The would-be successor must cede his phantom soul if he is to accept his prize, control of the dark. These streets already teem with souls. All that is needed is the key. We have no time. The key, show it to me. Diablerie! The blood sin, you say? It has a familiar ring. Years past, during the Inquisition of the Heretics, the rude inverse was carved on them, an abjuration of the flesh. Those who bore this tattoo called it the blood sin. Good God! Sydney held the key all along! What? The tattoo on his back! It is the blood sin! He has the key! He has played you false! No, I won't. Then why does Sydney not take the city? The Duke is in his final hours. Surely he would not follow the Duke's wishes.
Stop!
I liked him. Harden. That little flashback reflection always kind of led me to the connection that, like, oh, Sidney was the Duke's boy, his first son. He just looked an awful lot like the Duke's new son, Joshua, when he was younger. What are your designs for the Risk Breaker? Not yet figured it out, eh? I thought so. So he is to succeed to the legacy, then?
I've given up. There is no meaning in an incomplete death.
What are you ranting about?
You do not understand? He is the perfect one to rule this city of darkness. He shows all the signs. He is ready.
That weak-spirited vagrant! He has the unquestioning faith of a child in his morality.
Better a pious child than an inquisitive rogue. Unlike you, he would not misuse the dark. Why try to harry me when it is he who has shamed you? Nonetheless, you could not harm me.
Your powers hold no sway over me. Prepare yourself, Sidney. Look at you. Freaking spit on me. This is your successor. Open your eyes, Sidney. I am the one. Harden is gone. Old man Bardorba's next. And Sidney, your time will soon come, I think. You'd give the city to the Cardinal's motley rabble? I think not. Not after the hardships I've endured. I'm sure you agree, Sidney. It is time. I will carry on the legacy in your name. Now, the rights. Name me your successor.
I name you Worm as you crawl through the dust.
Then keep your immortality. Here, let me lighten your burden. Huh? What?
I gave my limbs to the gods. Perhaps I'll add yours to the offering.
When will you learn your power is useless against me? Huh? Ah, not as immune as you thought, are you, Rosencrantz?
Do not forget where you are standing, Rosencrantz.
You have deceived me?
I've done nothing so base. You deceived yourself with a boy's daydreams. Fear not, sweet Rosencrantz. I will not kill you.
Yeah, she will.
I give you the city, Riskbreaker. All its power, all to you. Make haste, join me. Already your powers are close to readiness. Come.
Keep your accursed city. Where's Merlos?
You may be able to save them, your wife and child. Should you meet them, repent, Ashley, repent!
Help, Ashley.
Mellows, where are you? Above.
Hardin, what has happened?
We have been waiting for you, Sydney.
I will handle this.
No apology, Sydney, for the man you've deceived these many years.
Is it true? That tattoo is the key? Forgive me, Hardin. Why? Why? All our efforts.
He has played you all like pawns, and now he throws you away. What is this phantom soul needed for the rites? Answer me, Sydney. Or you will die.
You really want to become a martyr for your full religion?
Not religion, Sydney. Revolution. A fresh wind to blow away the disease of the land. For our realm is sick. It suppurates with profiteers, fawning merchants licking the boots of the nobility. They do nothing and blame others for their failure. They steal men's dreams and twist them to nightmares. We must cleanse this corruption. There must be strong, unwavering justice. And there must be fear to enforce that justice.
It is a wretched rule that does not value human life.
The world does not want a savior. These wretches leading lives of misery do not need salvation. The rotting branch must be pruned.
A tyrant always dies alone, Guildenstern. Surrounded by silver-tongued leeches, he is utterly alone. He sows sorrow and reaps death.
You are a leader too. Do you not dream of what could be?
In my dreams, I see an evil tyrant's hands which would choke the world. And he is the only one blind to his folly.
This farce is over. I will have my answer.
And if I say no,
I will hew my retribution from your flesh. Like your pawn here.
if the soul is not true and fast, the rites are meaningless. It will lead to disaster. Sydney! Ah! Hardin, we fly to safety. To blackened wing and wavering light. Wait. You sought to help the Duke? Your father? Delta X's!
Perhaps I cannot kill you, immortal, but I shall have your blood sin as my trophy. is this?
You're late, Risk Breaker.
Where's Merlos? What happened to Decalo Merlos?
Worry not. I sent her to a safe place. She will escape unharmed.
What has happened here?
Look and know. I wanted to help Father. This city was his only hope. You can see. I wanted to help Father, as he helped me when I was born. He wanted the city destroyed, even if it meant his own death. Then he implored me, do not let them use it. The power. Stop him. Stop Guildenstern. Those who crave the dark cannot control the dark. You must stop him. Kill him. Before the dark sucks his living soul dry.
Where is he?
Ashley,
I know. Hey, you're just in time for the final boss and ending. And I have a bit of an excerpt I'm going to read from the fan translation of the Vagrant Story Ultimania that added some detail to this scene in kind of a novelized version of a few scenes. So yeah, Guildenstern straight up peeled off Sydney's flesh with his rapier and pasted it onto his own back so he could have the blood sin, the key to succeeding the dark. This game is never getting a remake.
my love. Why?
Forgive me, Samantha. I need your soul. Our cause needs a martyr.
Your cause. There is no place for me, for our dream.
I love you, Samantha, as God is my witness.
I, too, once thought so.
I'm gonna leave it right there for a second, just to read this excerpt from the novelized version of this scene. The lovely pale skin of Commander Samantha slipped from sight, the cold, dawnless black of Le Monde swallowing her whole. One red rose blossomed on her breast, the inked lines of a tattoo, and another, still blossoming, blood-crimson rose colored her stomach. At its center glittered the blade of a short dagger, stabbed nearly to the hilt in her gut. The man she loved and whom she had believed loved her, the man she trusted completely and never once doubted, had stuck it there. Already mostly dead, Samantha fell from the dome of the great cathedral in a graceful arc, like a flower petal sinking with the rain towards the hard stone ground so far below. Ashley saw her in that single second she dropped past the atrium's window. He'd been about to climb the stairs leading up from that chamber of secret sacrifices. Black dust drifted from her body, the disintegration process already begun. Likely only the dagger that killed her would hit the flagstones below. Such was the fate of every crimson blade Guildenstern led into the dark maelstrom at the heart of Le Monde. Even after the commander's corpse passed his line of vision, Ashley was still completely aware of her. When the dark first touched both their souls, an uncanny connection between their senses opened. Whether it was simply that they had a like rhythm, or some other unexplained cause that created the bridge spanning their minds, Ashley didn't know. However it happened, it gave him the power to see through her eyes and hear with her ears. That link to Samantha's mind,
and the similar one leading to Calomurlos provided handy insight into the movements of the enemy's top ranks. Samantha's body dissolving and her soul starting to slip away, one last thought ran through her mind and across the bridge to Ashley's, where it rang clearly. It wasn't a shriek of rage against the betrayal that made her a sacrifice for another man's gain, nor was it a wail of regret over her own death. It was fear. Fear of the bleak, blood-drenched future her lover was chaining himself to in his desire for the power of an ultimate dictator. Save him, she cried to Ashley, to her enemy, her lover's enemy, and their only possible savior. Ashley intended to do so.
Guildenstern! Come, Riskbreaker. Your death will be my rebirth. Come, help celebrate my ascension!
Nah, I think I just had a crappy sword the first time I played. To be fair, I'm not alone in that, because the official guidebook makes it sound like they had just as hard of a time with the final boss as I did. I didn't get to see his cool attack. Like, the official guidebook implies that you need to use very specific chain abilities because otherwise your normal attack just does, like, no damage. So I don't think they had a very good sword either.
Forget that which pains you. You cannot reclaim this lost time. I know there is only regret here. What difference does it make? Whether you lost a wife and child or killed an innocent family, you cannot bring back the dead. Your hands are tainted with blood, truth of law. Your sins are eternal. Release the past, look to the future. Join us, Ashley.
Come home.
There is no growth without birth. Without a foothold in the past, we cannot walk toward the future. Get thee gone, darkness!
Papa!
Forgive me, Marco. You must have been lonely.
Nuh-uh, I'm brave, just like Papa.
Tia.
Welcome home, Ashley. You've done all you could for us. 'Twas a short time, but I knew happiness with you. You gave me a lifetime's worth of love. Don't cry, Papa. See, I'm not crying. See?
But... this...
Do not be misled by others' words. Believe your heart. I love you, Ashley. Come home, Agent Riot. Your story is not yet finished.
The dark has all but consumed Guildenstern's soul, and he's basically become the monster on the outside that he already was on the inside. Maybe the buffs always work. Oh, he's gonna do the thing. Okay. Shoot, that's a bad time for Magic Ward to be up. I did really good on the shield. Swallow Slash is really good. Really, really good. I killed him with it.
Ashley!
Quickly, it's all collapsing.
But Agent Riot!
There's no time. Go now!
And what then? We are finished!
We must tell them what has happened here. Flee, Nisa!
Come back alive, Tiga! Alive!
Now the slowest dance begins, partner. 'Tis a fine tomb we shall share.
The blood sin has rightfully passed down to Ashley. Load-bearing boss, I think. It was kind of Sydney's aim to destroy the city, too.
Gods be with you, Riot. No, Hardin, stay here! Don't go!
You speak. At last. The terror. I am sorry.
Duke Bardorba's secondary residence in the Greylands 1 week later.
Well met, Sydney. So it is done. You have suffered much. I too have played my part. Let us leave the rest to this Ashley. He is the one you have chosen. I know what must be done. I was not much of a father to you. Forgive me, my son.
I never saw that on the small TV I played this on. He's actually crying as his son dies.
Sire, your excellency! Someone bring water! Our lord has fallen!
That's such a nice detail that I never frickin' saw because I never played this on a big enough TV screen with clear enough detail.
Who walks here at this hour? What is your business? Show your papers!
Calamelos, VKP Inquisitor.
My lady, I beg your forgiveness.
It is no matter. You are merely doing your duty.
Thank you, milady.
So Ashley has the same powers Sydney had now. And so began the story of the Wanderer, the Vagrant. The end of this story is just kind of the beginning of a completely new life for Sydney. Though given things about him, I don't know if he would be the protagonist in a theoretical sequel. 'Cause I think he's immortal now. I feel like you'd have to have a different character as the player character because Ashley is too overpowered now. So there is also, in the Ultimania, there's a novelized version of that ending. Some of it, at least. So I might as well read that while the credits are going. The mantle of Master of Le Monde passed to a new bearer, and in the process, many new souls felt the touch of the dark. All, excepting one, of course, were sent into the arms of an incomplete death. Before, the spell songs etched into every wall of the city would trap them within its bounds. Forever confined on this side of oblivion, insane and vicious, those rotted souls' very presence served to entice more of the dark into the wellspring, their hatred and pain feeding it. But Le Monde burned. Already in ruins before the blaze, the fire-gutted corpse could no longer be called even a shell of its former self. Unfortunately, those wretched souls once stuck within it were not allowed the freedom brought by destruction, though their cage was now gone. So where do they all go now, and what will happen to the survivors? That handful of people who survived the fires and earthquakes that leveled the old city, yet bear the dark's taint, like Merlos. What will happen to them when they die? Ashley knows. A living bridge between the world of the dark and the world of mankind, successor to pure power, Ashley Riot knows. The logic of life, the meaning of death, and the fate of those forever trapped in between. A steady, cold rain pelted the cobblestones. Ashley stood at the mouth of a dim alleyway, quietly watching the Duke's bedchamber window. He stood patiently, waiting. Sydney Losthero had borrowed his face and his name for one last visit to the Duke, and he would be returning shortly. And return he did, in soul anyway. His body had turned to black ash a little while before. With him came the Duke, their deaths intertwined, as decreed by their unique compact with the dark. Le Monde was gone, its rune-carved walls destroyed. They could no longer bind the dark, cursed dead. Instead, as one, they flowed into a new vessel, Ashley himself. Accepting an uncountable number of souls, an uncountable number of lost dreams, Ashley provided a peaceful haven for every last condemned one. He'd come to terms with being Master of the Dark, and his duty, as he saw it, was not to rule, but to stabilize. Unlimited power had been granted to him, not to use as he pleased, but to enable him to smooth out the wrinkles where the world of the dark collided with reality. As Master of the Dark, Ashley knows. The path the survivors of Le Monde will take is as plain as day to him. Callow, Tiger, Nisa, even young Joshua. Any road they choose will inevitably lead to him, if not in life, then of a certainty in death. Their flight to paradise could go no other way. Under the black leather trenchcoat, his destiny inked fine lines across his back. Shouldering the burdens implicit in that contract, Ashley turned away from the now bustling residence and began to walk. The rain-drenched alley ran ahead of him, the beginning of an endless path into a place of eternal twilight, a place unfathomable to the mortal mind. The seam where reality and magic melt together. And so begins the story of the Wanderer, the Vagrant. There's also a bit in there, if it's not obvious from some of the framing device of this game and like the trailer for this game and the game manual of this game, but he is kind of like a wanted man. Though, like, the VKP is looking for him because he just disappeared and went AWOL, and because Sydney borrowed his face to get in to see the Duke, Ashley ended up being the prime suspect in, like, the Duke's quote-unquote murder. But because of the powers he has and everything, he's able to just disappear, and no one can catch him if he doesn't want them to. He can deceive anyone into making them think he's someone else. It, like, doesn't even matter. But he can never go back to the VKP, not that I think he would want to go back to his risk-breaker life at this point anyway. There was definitely room for a sequel, though, because even though Ashley's story is kind of, in a way, kind of finished, at least in terms of what you could really do in a game. Because, like I said, he's too overpowered to be, like, a game protagonist now, unless it was just, like, a visual novel or something. But there were some interesting threads in this game, like how, there's that line from Guildenstern, like, to Hardin, saying, like, you think the dark only runs in your city, or whatever he says. Oh, look, Ashley got a dog. Guildenstern says, like, you think the dark only runs in your city? You underestimate the Cardinal. We never see the Cardinal in this game, but every time he's mentioned, it's in very kind of... He seems like a background villain that was never dealt with in a way, and, like, there's another city of darkness out there somewhere. Like, Le Monde is not the only dark wellspring that exists in this world, so... There was certainly more that could have been done in this world. It would have been interesting to see what else they could have done with it. But I like the story as it is. As a game, it definitely has some rough edges. There's parts of it that can be a little frustrating or trying at times. But I think I still like it. For me, I'm able to enjoy it more than I'm able to enjoy it more than I dislike it, at least, even though some of it's a little annoying at times. But I also just really like the, like, mood and aesthetic of this game. And I really like the storytelling. Finn. Some people do get really confused about some parts of this game, though, toward the end. I did, too, when I was younger. I did not follow some of that very easily. Like, the kind of surreal scene in the White Void that I voiced this time around. I had the perfect idea of how to voice it, what kind of voice is supposed to belong to each line of dialogue, but it used to be the case that I was not really sure about that. I, like... kind of had trouble quite parsing what was going on in that cutscene the first time, I think. And then there's also all the stuff with, like, Ashley's wife and child, which, a lot of people end up feeling is open-ended. Some people aren't even sure if it was, like, whether or not Ashley actually had a wife and child. This time around, I would say, to me, it actually seems pretty clear that he did. You think that Ashley could possibly be the MC of a sequel? I mean, if there are other dark wellsprings, there could be people with crazy amounts of power like Ashley. Maybe. You'd have to... The thing that really gets me is the whole immortality bit. Like, the immortality thing is kind of the rough spot, because that's like... If it's a game, every enemy you face needs to have the capability to kill you. Which seems like a tall order if Ashley is supposed to have immortality now. But I could see it being possible that there could be a threat that would be, like, an actual threat to him. I do still feel like it would be hard to base a whole game around it, though, where, like, all the enemies could actually be that kind of a threat. Unless you pull some kind of retconning thing where he, like, oh, he's not immortal, he can die. I don't know, maybe the crazy powerful enemy removes his immortality somehow. But, yeah, some people end up uncertain about if Ashley actually had a wife and child because of the cutscenes in the middle of the game with Sydney and Rosencrantz telling him that was, like, all a lie burned into his soul kind of thing. But I think it's fairly clear to me that that was the lie. Like, the first time Sydney peeks into his soul, it's his wife and child. I think the first time that Sydney looks in would be the time that is more truthful. That aside from that, I think Sydney then screwing with his head after that, I think was just another part of Sydney testing Ashley. Because Sydney wanted Ashley to be the successor to the Dark City. And to do that, he needs to have a heart that can resist the darkness and things that would try to mislead him. And, I mean, the dark on its own tries to do that. We see how it, we see how it manipulates Grissom, who Grissom had a fairly strong soul, but once he joined the Cold Ones, the wolves start whispering to him, and it warps his mind. He's not able to resist it. I think Sydney wanted to test Ashley on that front by doing a bit of that, trying to warp Ashley's memory and see if he could come through it okay. And as for Rosencrantz, following along with that lie, Rosencrantz had been eavesdropping on Ashley up to that point, and, like, he was actually going to go separate ways just before the forest, but then you see him stop and turn back to toward the forest, like, wait, like, he has this realization that I think he realizes Ashley might be the successor that Sydney is trying to choose. So it's not that much of a stretch to think that Rosencrantz then goes into the forest, especially since you bump into him later after the forest. It's not that much of a stretch to think that he could have eavesdropped on the conversation between Sydney and Ashley, so he knows a tiny bit of the lie that was being spun there so that he can play off of it just to screw with Ashley, because he is kind of that way. And you even hear him later talk to Sydney, like, he chides Ashley for basically just, like, believing anything, like he's too gullible kind of thing, which the only lie that Rosencrantz ever could have told Ashley in this game that we saw him actually believe was the thing about his wife and child not being his wife and child, or that it was all VKP lies, because every other lie that Rosencrantz tried to tell Ashley, he just disregarded. He knew that he was not a risk breaker, he knew it was BS, and he was like, leave town if you value your life, I'll cut you next we meet. I just think that Rosencrantz was just lying. And if you pay attention to the lies too, Sydney's story in the middle of the game in the forest doesn't match up with what Rosencrantz says either. Sydney says that Ashley kills an innocent family by mistake. Rosencrantz's dialogue implies that it was done on purpose because they were witnesses and witnesses have to be silenced kind of thing. So the two stories don't match, which further just kind of cements that it's a lie. So during the kind of surreal scene in between the two forms of the final boss, Ashley finally gets his head together after being messed with like that, and kind of sees the soul of his wife and child one last time. It's a little open to interpretation on whether that's all in his head or if it's actually their souls. I like to think it actually is their souls. Maybe they kind of couldn't rest in peace when they saw how Ashley was suffering after their deaths. But once he kind of got his head together there within the darkness and pulled out of it, they were able to just kind of see him one last time and, say their goodbye so they could rest in peace. That's kind of my interpretation of that. You could put it that just because you're immortal doesn't mean you can't be injured and knocked out, so the bad guy's objective could be waiting to incapacitate Ashley so the big bad can suck out his immortality or something. That's kind of true, because that's sort of half what Guildenstern managed to overpower Sydney and just tear the Bloodsin off his back. And that didn't seem to remove his immortality, actually, exactly, to be fair, because he still had to be killed by a very specific special dagger together with the Duke or something. There was like some kind of weird nonsense going on there. But Sydney was still very much incapacitated. Like, Ashley gets there and Sydney can't even move, and even after the boss fight with Guildenstern, Ashley has to carry Sydney because he's just out. And he does, like, recover, but it took him a while to actually recover enough to be able to go walk into the Duke's room. So, like, yeah, I mean, there is kind of that facet of, like, even if Ashley was the protagonist in the new game, even if he can't die, he could be incapacitated for a time, which in some circumstances could be like, then the big bad could get away with doing something, which is kind of a game over in its own right, because even if Ashley doesn't die, he fails to stop whatever's going on. In fact, there are games where you don't die, but you still get like a game over. So yeah, actually, I could see how that could work. I think that's going to do it for Vagrant Story, yeah. So, to everyone who's watched me go through this, thanks for watching it. I hope you enjoyed it. I do really like this game, even if I don't love every part of it, if I get a little frustrated at some parts, but it's still a really good game I appreciate a lot. So, yeah, glad I could share it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you for something else.